Happy Tuesday. It's Tracing Roots, Telling Tales Tuesday. Genealogy with Donna, episode 64. Boy, I'm not even halfway there yet. I've got enough for 300 episodes. Isn't that cool? Anyway, so today is about when dates don't add up, the conflicting information available, sorting truth from error. In genealogy, conflicting dates are common. One census says an ancestor was born in 1882, another says 1885, and a death certificate says 1884. This most often happens than beginners expect. It happens all the time. Keep in mind, death certificates are not filled out by the people that died. They don't pre-fill them out. They're filled out by the people that are left. What people could be left? Wives, daughters, sons, uncles, aunts, neighbors, friends, lawyers, etc. And when they were born, I was told, now you're talking about 16, 17, 1800s. I was told that I was born in 1880. I was told I was born in, 1765. When were you baptized? When were you christened? That might be in the church records. Churches have had records for thousands of years, and it might be that you weren't baptized until you were 2. So maybe they think you're 18 months old or 12 months old. So that is where some of that can come from. Consider who supplied the information. A birth certificate created at birth is generally more reliable than a death certificate completed decades later by a grieving family member. Now, they didn't issue birth certificates as we know it because they were home births, and who is it that told whom about the birth? So I would even say, my mother was born at home, and I believe a doctor was there, but I can't tell you for sure if there was. I know she has a birth certificate, but and her mother would have supplied that information. However, I know it was a home birth. So again, how does that information get disseminated and given to whomever needs to have it? And most people don't know or a lot of people, let's say that, didn't always know their exact age. Many ancestors celebrated birthdays loosely, especially immigrants, rural residents, or those born before mandatory birth registration. And maybe it was just a celebration of, we're going to celebrate all of the birthdays from May or June or November. So maybe everybody said, okay, you're born on the 1st. Who knows? You need to create a timeline of every known date. Laying all dates side by side often reveals which records are most likely accurate and where inconsistencies exist. If I have an exact date versus a circa or approximate, I'm going to take the exact date every single time. Treat conflicts as clues rather than mistakes. When dates don't agree, it may signal a second marriage, identity confusion, name duplication, or another story waiting to be uncovered. I had one where, and I've told you about the Mary Martha. The man married Martha, and they had a Mary, and Mary had a Martha, and Martha had a Mary. Well, those all were dates, so you take it from the marriage date, and you figure out how they were, if it was every other generation was the Mary and the opposite was Martha, then you could kind of figure it out. But that got very confusing on my story about the Ichabods, because they did not live long, the first 2 of them. And frankly, if you die at the age of 21, I don't think you've had a long life then either. I don't care that it's the 1700s. Then you can ferret out which one's which. But that was a little trepidation when I was doing that one too. So, and we do have a lot of Richards in the Kate family, so you had to be careful about those. And in the Goodwin family, there is quite a plethora of Richards. And so I had to be careful about that. One of the nicest things, it wasn't, I only had my direct line to my, was that my great grandfather? My great grandfather, who was my great grandmother's husband, so my great grandfather. Past that, I didn't have any information. However, when we were on the East Coast, I had the privilege of meeting and talking to the gentleman, a good one, a gentleman that was president of the Good One Family Society, which is very big back there, and was able to provide our lineage from California to, and all the current members, which included my sisters at the time, to them. They were able to provide for me then the stuff that I was missing. So that was a great godsend. And in making the connections that you can make through historical societies, genealogy societies, museums, libraries in the different towns in which the people have lived, you're able to gather that information and find out, is there a society or a family reunion for the different family names that you're trying to investigate. In most instances, I would speculate that those people have a current family tree, or at least a family tree that comes up to the point where all of the branches are out, and maybe they haven't been able to gather like myself. And this happened in the early 2000s or mid 2000s, that they were finally able to grab that branch of the tree. They knew up to the point where my great grandfather had passed away, but they did not know what happened to the rest of the arm of that family. So I was able to provide that for them, and in return, they gave me what they had. So that was very awesome. I'd love to make more connections like that with others. It would certainly help me, and I know that I can help them. So keep that in mind when you're. Hi, Shirley. Keep that in mind when you're tracing your family tree. And if you come against block walls, don't keep beating your head against it. The key will come eventually, but you might move on and do another branch or limb of the tree that you have, and just put your mind at rest that you can come back to it at any time. And I had probably a 12-year period where I didn't touch the family tree. Well, there have been so much in Ancestry that had been developed in the software to be able to give us more information that my family tree still has a little green leaf hints that I thought were completely completed, and I was very proud of that. But they're able to glean from other records more information, and from that, I'm able to complete more information in my own family tree. So that's always something to remember and put in the back of your head, that don't get stressed. Don't let a family tree stress you out. It will, but don't let it. Otherwise, I hope you have a wonderful Tuesday, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.